All right, I don't know what time it is on your clock, but I know what I'm getting ready for. It is time for the Professional CISO Podcast with David Malicoat.
All right, gang, we got another Digital Fight Club, the Professional CISO Quick Hit. I've got Will Long in the seat again. We had a little conversation about the critical infrastructure fight. So I want to dive deep into that a little bit, right? So talk to me about, A, what did you take away from it? And kind of what are you thinking relative to that critical infrastructure fight?
Sure, David. One of the things I noticed is it really highlights the challenge we have in critical infrastructure, how hard this battle is.
Right.
And we all keep grasping for what is that nugget that we need to help make this and win this fight. Right, in the real life, how do we win the fight? Not here tonight and win the fight, but in the real life, win the fight. And it's about vulnerability management and those threats and really doing all of the things right that we need to be as defenders, right? Because the attacker only needs one thing, right, to be successful. We have to do all of it. And so we really have to have that end-to-end program that can really defend us well.
So when we talk about programs like that, what are you finding out there that, because I know my challenge was always trying to work this vulnerability thing through a spreadsheet, right? So do you have a place where you're going, whether it be process, people, maybe technology, that's providing you a better, maybe a buy up or an advantage in some way?
Absolutely. It is a lot about people and process and talent. And one of the problems I see in the market is we all have this challenge of how can we do all of this? How can we understand all of the threats and all of the vulnerabilities, all of the configurations and hardening and process and people and talent? And it just goes on. That amount of work you have to do and be right at all the time is enormous. And there are tools like Interpres on the market that you can understand your threat and posture continuously and then actually build a threat team using a tool and do it more efficiently and actually understand your threat. So that tells a better story at the end of the day.
Love it. I think that goes a long way to help solving the critical infrastructure problem, right? Being able to deploy, whether it be tools like that or have the right people. Any last notes, any last things that you want to kind of let the audience take away?
Yeah, absolutely. Most every team that I go in and help is not really doing a threat-based management system, and they need help. They know, most of these teams I go to know they need threat people. They can't afford threat people. They can't build threat teams. They already have several people doing cyber, or maybe an entire team. And they need something that's automated and better and continuous to really pull it all together. And that's where a tool like that comes into place.
Love it. All right, great stuff, gang. Another quick hit, THPC, Digital Fight Club. We'll talk next time. Thanks, Will Long.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, gang, we're here with another Digital Fight Club, the Professional CISO Podcast Quick Hit. I got Matt Walker, CISO of Goosehead Insurance. I call him a CISO. They call him something different, but that's okay because in the end, you're a CISO. So he's like, it's okay. All right, Matt, Digital Fight Club.
Yeah.
How many times you been here?
This is my third one.
Third one.
That's right.
Dude, love it.
3 times.
Thank you for supporting us, by the way.
This
we
is
appreciate
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
So tonight, which was your favorite fight?
My favorite fight was the Hollywood and AI and media. Even though that's not where I play, there were some really good points brought out there. And I got to give it to the refs for asking some really good questions during that.
Love it.
And kind of bringing it back to the overarching story of, how do we deal with this in this industry, right? Cybersecurity overall throughout all industries has a lot of similarities, but what are the specifics in the media industry that are challenging?
Right.
And I found that really interesting.
And you can almost see ourselves in that question, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, so any takeaways like that you may go implement in your daily coming from this? Did you get anything like that?
Yeah, takeaways really were on the fight around critical infrastructure. And again, even though my company isn't critical infrastructure, some of the key points around you've got to have your asset inventory in place. You've got to know what's out there that you got to protect.
Right.
You know, they ring a bell that's true, that is something that we have to deal with as security leaders day in and day out.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah,
I've heard that from multiple CISOs tonight,
Yeah.
where it's like, not necessarily a takeaway, but like it's reinforced it. I'm hearing it from other people, so therefore, and other CISOs or other professionals, it reinforces with me like, oh yeah, definitely got to do that.
That's right. That's right.
Love it. All right, final question. Any topics that you want to see in future Digital Fight Club Cybers? Anything that's got you passionate?
I'd love to see a fight around how do you present to the board? How do you get budget? How do you make your business case for what you're trying to do?
Right.
Because, you know, cybersecurity is just a part of a business, right? There's a lot of other initiatives that a business has to be focused on.
Right.
There's a lot of other areas where the budget has to go to. So how does cyber really get its cut of the budget? How do we win that argument when we're making our case before the board around, hey, you got to fund us and here's why?
I think that might wind up being the rowdiest fight that we may have around that one for sure. You're definitely going to get the CISOs on their feet, right?
That's right.
All right, gang. That was another quick hit. Digital Fight Club, the Professional CISO Podcast. Matt Walker, thank you so much for dropping by, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Are you headed to Black Hat 2024 in Las Vegas? Interpres Security will be there August 5th through the 8th. Come visit with us to learn how to continuously validate your cybersecurity defenses and mitigate threat exposure. Come join us in our suite at the Delano Hotel at the Mandalay Bay, where we'll be meeting daily. While there, you can meet the team, engage with industry peers, and catch a demo to learn more about how Interpres can provide a proactive and unbiased view of your security posture, focusing your resources on the most impactful defensive actions. Visit www.interpressecurity.com/events/blackhat-2024 to book a meeting with an expert on our team. While there, you can view a full list of the dinners Interpres Security will be hosting at Black Hat USA 2024. We look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas.
All right, gang, we're back here with another Digital Fight Club, the Professional CISO Quick Hit. I've got Andrew Forgie, ARMIS, OT specialist for North America.
North America. OT, IoT, operational technology, you got it.
Love it, love it. Okay, so we're a Digital Fight Club.
Yep.
How many times you been?
This is my first time that I've been able to come. That's right.
Love it.
Yeah.
And what'd you think?
Amazing. Actually, far exceeded my expectations. Because, you know, people do it and they tell you about how awesome it is, but then when you're actually live in the crowd,
Right.
you know, you understand the topics, you have an opinion, there's two people that are debating it, there's referees. For me personally, it's probably one of the funnest things that you could come out and do. So entertaining, educational, relative to what we do. So
Love it.
Very, very cool.
Which was your favorite fight?
Had to be the critical infrastructure. It was the first one popped off, and then I think
Hits home with ARMIS, I'm sure.
it hit home. It certainly hits home for ARMIS. I think it hits home really for everyone, right? We're talking about critical infrastructure. We're talking about our hospitals. We're talking about transportation systems and water treatment systems. And so, again, it's something that these are topics that we need to have conversations about with two different perspectives on how much should federal government be trying to drive and create the standards, and then how much should we be trusting the private sector to know how to do the right things.
So did you have any takeaways that you're going to kind of go and take into work tomorrow or in the coming days? Is there anything you drew out of this that you're going to be able to apply on the daily?
It's a good question. Well, and I'll tell you why. I've already had some pretty strong opinions on all of those as well. I can tell you that one of the things when we were talking about support for the federal and everybody pay taxes is, yes, we do pay taxes, right? We pay, last year, I think government collected $4.4 trillion in taxes. 800 something billion of that went towards national defense. You've got $2.2 trillion that came from payroll. And so a lot of taxes going in, good portion of that going towards national defense. But in the world of cybersecurity, and when we think national defense, I don't meet people who are worried about aircraft carriers showing up or jets flying over. The real concerns are around cyber threats. And I think one way the federal government could be helping are doing the same things they did for like environmental protection, right? Instead of stick, you know, you bear the cost, you bear the pain, you bear the consequences, and if it messes up, we're going to come after you. Here comes the stick. They don't have that same approach for the environment, right? And it's going to take everybody working together in order to fix it. And so they've learned that tax credits, tax rebates, and there's been studies that show that this is making an improvement. I think it's time for a program that allows people to say, look, invest the money, secure. The federal government can create programs to make sure people aren't abusing it, right? Like, do this assessment, they're certified, but incentivize those companies with the carrot and help reward them for being a part of the solution versus just constantly punishing them.
Right.
Especially now when we start to see individuals liable.
Right.
Exactly. And like, hey, now you could be the person.
Personal to me for sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, you end up getting people who are going to move away who could really make a difference.
Right.
And so I think that area has some room for maturity and improvement from the people I talk to. A lot of them seem to agree. So I've taken the step to message my congressperson here locally. I've done posts. So I think that was kind of the kind of what I would want to have interjected between that conversation.
Love it. Final question.
Yeah.
Look into the future digital fight clubs.
Yes.
Any topic that you want to see up on stage being debated, being fought out?
How do we keep up with the 0 days and end days that are coming out? Considering the AI point of view, attackers are already doing it, right? They're using it to scale every part of their operation. They're using it to create new exploits at a rapid pace. How are companies actually going to do that? And then the other piece of it has to be around security findings and management. So we see where one side of the teams are getting really good at it.
Yep.
From a prioritization, right? They're trying to move away from those spreadsheets, but the rest of that process, identifying the owner, remediating, patching it, that's the next big challenge. Once we understand what it is that we have, we understand here are the findings, prioritize those findings, but you got to be able to help streamline that process, get that down, and then now we got to deal with the 0 days and the end days. I don't see how we do it without AI.
Right.
That's specifically designed to help support that.
Love it. All right, gang. That was another quick hit. Andrew Forgie, appreciate it, man. Thanks for dropping by.
Yep. Thank you.
Until next time. All right, gang. Here we are, another quick hit. Digital Fight Club, the Professional CISO Podcast. I've got an absolute legend with me, Phillip Wylie from the Phillip Wylie Show, as well as Horizon 3, yes?
Yes.
Love it. All right, first Digital Fight Club.
Yes, very first one.
What are your thoughts? What do you think of it?
Very interesting. I've heard a lot about it and heard a lot of good things, like from you and James, and I've seen posts on social media probably middle of last year or fall, and I thought, it looks kind of interesting. I never heard of it, but it was a fun experience.
Love it. All right, so now it's your first time. You've gone through it a little bit. What was your favorite fight?
It was actually more towards the subjects. I thought the subject around AI and critical infrastructure were really good, important topics. So yeah, it was kind of a toss-up between the two.
I got you. And so, coming from those, any takeaways? Anything that like you may like pull out of there and maybe use in your daily job or be able to in your messaging around Horizon 3?
It was just kind of interesting because I know about some of those areas, and I've worked in, one of the judges from Kimberly-Clark. I used to work Kimberly-Clark. We had an OT environment, so I've worked in companies that have had the OT environments. Didn't really learn much, but just kind of seen how this could be very valuable to management types to understand areas that maybe they haven't worked in.
Love it. Yeah. One of the themes I'm hearing from a lot of the guests tonight are, it's not necessarily I learned something new, but it's more of a reinforcement. Yeah. Like I'm like, or a confirmation of something I was already thinking or already kind of contemplating. Similar?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of look to the future a little bit, right? So Digital Fight Club, obviously you're going to be welcome back to the next one as the local legend or even national legend that you are. Any topics that you want to see fought out? You want to see up there on the stage, on the screen?
Yeah, I'd like to see some stuff around offensive security maybe, since that's kind of the area I work in.
Absolutely.
And it's an area that doesn't get covered much because a lot of my conference talks, and one of my more recent conference talks is called Offensive Security Awareness, because matter of fact, when I worked at Kimberly-Clark, A lot of people in the security team didn't know the difference between a vulnerability assessment, a vulnerability scan, a pen test, or a red team operation.
Right.
So I created a single slide that had the different types of assessments, showing the different components, showing the comparison. So I think that's something that really needs to get out there more, because a lot of people see pen testing or offensive security as a checkbox.
Right.
Sometimes they don't know when they needed to use certain types of assessments, like a red team operation. That's something you're really not doing until your organization is more mature. And so just some of that knowledge, I think, is really not being shared as widely, or people that are attending the conferences really aren't setting in on those type of talks. So I think there's really need for that in the industry.
Love it, love it. All right, gang, well, that was another quick hit. Digital Fight Club, Professional CISO Podcast. Phillip Wylie, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
All right, gang, we're here at Digital Fight Club, but we're not going to talk about Digital Fight Club. Or we do, but we won't.
Right.
In this case, Matt Walker, I think you have a little bit of an announcement.
That's right. On September 6th, I'm going to be speaking at the North Texas ISSA conference.
Wait a minute. I'm going to be there too.
That's awesome.
Are you kidding?
No.
So you're speaking. Do you know what you're speaking on yet?
I don't.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people should just
fun.
come. Yeah, we're going to have some fun.
That's right.
So I'm going to be there recording the Professional CISO Podcast, and we're going to talk to all the speakers. So we're going to be able to sit down again.
Great. Love it.
All right. So don't miss it. It is the North Texas ISSA Cybersecurity Conference, September 6th, day.
That's right.
All day, 8 to 4:30, I believe.
I think so, yep.
Yeah. And it's at the Plano Event Center.
That's right.
So off the Spring Creek there, over by the college, right?
Yeah.
Over by Collin College. Well, Matt, appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you again at the
Likewise.
North Texas ISSA Cybersecurity Conference.
Looking forward to it.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
We're professionalizing the CISO role, so please subscribe to the Professional CISO Podcast.